So you can kind of see a command trailer back there. So there's Rowdy. If you want to get if you want to see his footage, definitely jump over to Rowdy Podcast. It's always nice to have multiple cameras out in an area. Anything over on that side?
No. It's just the end of the day or whatever.
I had one Brooklyn Center cop drive by, didn't even look at me. So yeah guys, this is the intersection we were out at when we caught the end of that police chase where that car went up in the tree. That's right there, right in front of the FBI building. See if we're going to have contact.
Well, number one, you haven't asked me to leave, but number two, this is government property, right? Okay, who owns the government? Who owns the government? This is government property, which we've already established. Visitor parking, which the signs establish that, right?
Right.
So, who owns the government is what I'm asking you.
What do you mean who owns the government?
Who? Just what I
Are
said.
you trying to say the people own the government?
Correct. It's public property, right? because the public
Private property though.
Negative.
It's owned by the
So the fence is private, right?
The whole parking lot is private.
This is open to the public, and it's public property. It's funded by public, right?
Right. Got it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, get a hold of Brooklyn Center.
Call them.
Right, but this is private property though. That's why they have the sign posted up right here.
Correct. So this is visitor parking. I mean, it's open to the public. This parking lot, right?
It's open to the public when they have official business here.
I do have official business.
What, filming?
Correct. It's a First Amendment protected activity. I'm a First Amendment auditor.
Okay. So you want to explain that to?
Sure. So,
Like,
sure.
You want further detail about that?
Yeah. So what I do is I go around to different government facilities. I check out what the government officials are doing and people that are paid by government tax dollars. And essentially I see how the government reacts to people living in the country. That's the gist of it. And it turns into a lot of different things. I mean, it's a really interesting story to show people online. I think there's different ways to do it. I do it one way. I try to stay really professional. I don't carry weapons on me at all times. I have no ill will or ill intent. I'm not anti-government. I'm just pro-good government. Right? And the government that respects the Constitution.
I mean, but what do you want to get out of doing that?
Well,
I mean,
education for many different things, right? So I can educate the public on how to have these interactions and ensure that they're executing their rights properly, but that they're doing it. Because if you don't use it, you lose it, right?
Right.
And then also for other officials like yourself who maybe aren't familiar or haven't seen this before.
I've seen it before.
Okay, so and that's why. You know what I mean? And the other thing too is a lot of people are very unclear about government property, which is government property, and if there's an area in which you're not supposed to be in, like the other side of this fence, right? This is clearly marked and designated as can't go inside the fence, right? At that point in time, you can ask me to leave it, and then if I don't, then I get arrested, right? There's a reasonable expectation that I'm not supposed to be inside that fence unless I'm allowed or offered to.
According to them, you're not supposed to be in the parking lot. I mean, you can be on the sidewalk.
So
you can, because I've seen you out here before.
You have, yeah.
Yeah, and as long as
I'm always so busy,
they
I
don't
don't
have
stay long.
a problem as long as you stay on the sidewalk. But
Sure.
once you come
So
inside,
DHS is a different story to that. So they put out a couple of memos. One was, I think, the most recent one was 2018, talking about the fact that you're 100% allowed to film in publicly accessible areas within a building. Now, you can't go past restricted areas. This gate to me, and plus the security house would say that past this, inside of that, is restricted. The other thing you can't do is you can't trespass the eyes or the camera from what you can see out in public. So in a publicly accessible place on government property, because it's public property. And I can't go in there, but anything I can see from here, I can film.
I haven't heard that.
Well, hopefully,
We was told that as long as you guys stayed on the sidewalk,
Sure.
it was fine. But once you come past the sidewalk into the property, into the parking lot, now you're on the property.
and I get what you're saying, but hopefully I can explain it in a better way. But basically, so the taxpayers. I mean, the government doesn't own this building, but they do lease it, right? So if it's paid for and the leaseholder is the government, and that pays for the property, etc., then anything that's publicly accessible is public property. So, if, for example, let's just say that the gate was pushed back and to the sides of each side of the building there, and your front foyer was open to the public, I'd be allowed to go in there and film anything that's publicly accessible. Now, if you have a security checkpoint, for example, that's inside, at the front door or something like that, and I want to go through that, but you guys say you can't record through here. Like once you get in here, you got to turn it off. Then legally, I have to turn it off because it's a secured area. You know what I mean? So anything where I would have to go through security to get into would not be public accessible anymore, and it definitely wouldn't be acceptable if I was told I couldn't record. You know what I mean?
So you saying that you do this all to try to educate people?
Yeah, so that's a big part of it. It's twofold, right? So education as well as flexing your rights, which I think is really important. And I think there's a right way to have these conversations and this dialogue and hold people accountable, both sides. And I think there's other ways to do it that maybe are not as productive. but are still important, but I just don't do it that way. You know, I like to have a conversation. I like to give an education. I think it's important for the viewers online to see as well. And that's kind of just what I do.
Can I ask you what's your name?
Sure, it's Rowdy.
Rowdy?
Yeah. I don't give my actual name. That's my nickname.
Okay.
Yeah.
You alright?
The only reason I don't give my name out is because I don't have to. Plus, you guys already know who I am, and I'm sure they do too. I know they do.
Right.
So,
Well, I don't know. You tell me one thing, they tell us different.
I get it.
So
I understand. But there is a DHS memo out there that you can look up. Or your superiors, I should say. You know, I know you're just doing your job, and I get it. Hopefully, this will lead to help educate. What's up, man? How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm doing good.
What's going on?
What's your name and badge number, sir?
Officer Hussein.
What was that?
Officer Hussein 181.
Okay, awesome. No, I'm just out here filming, exercising a First Amendment protected activity.
Well, the problem is they've been out here on numerous times, and they have a problem with them coming in the parking lot because they saying that they own property. They say they not own property.
No, I said they do own the property, but the people that own the property is a government agency, and this is a publicly accessible parking lot. It's declared by the visitor sign, and it's government, which means that it would be public property until you get past the secured point. Is that Officer Casey? No.
I'll talk to you later.
They don't have a problem with that inside. They're gonna walk on the sidewalk. Once they come in the parking lot, they're officially
Number one, biggest thing is government.
What would they like us to report?
I don't know. They haven't really told us what they want. They had this problem.
Yeah.
They made a big issue about it. We just started.
As of today, the building is closed. There's no agency staff inside.
Good argument. What security has to say here.
I really try to study these things, you know? But I'm not trying to be difficult. It's more so educational.
So for now, I'm gonna allow them to go.
How long you guys been doing
It don't really depends on how this goes.
Just as, you know, and in the future, I will talk to your supervisors, maybe FBI staff. What the impact you want to watch. And then, the parking lot. Yeah, we have allowed it if they want us. They're way above my favorite. So, as of right now, I'm going to see the parking lot in front of the building.
I don't know. That's a good question. Hey, Scotty.
Fair enough.
Hey,
Since the building is closed.
oh, disregard.
We were here when that sign got knocked over and the guy
I want to find out what they want us to do.
sounds like
I
it's
mean, as far as them being in the parking lot. I know on the sidewalk it's totally different. So guys in the parking lot, he's saying they have a right to be here. The building is closed.
So we went down the other one and crazy. That one earlier.
Security, dog.
Yeah, because there's two vehicles on the other side. Both of them.
Copy that?
Yes, I did.
Corner had a bunch of people. I mean, you guys did a really good job. You guys did
So, what do you want us to do? I mean, the center said there's really nothing they can do about it.
Agent and see what's going to happen.
See, you know what I'm saying? They don't know what they want to do.
Yeah, I agree. about the building's not.
Yeah. Then I would never dare try to get
Whatever
in.
mechanisms they have
Sure.
in place. This parking lot, as of right now, the FBI doesn't have any direction.
I know.
So if you want to film the building as of right now, I would say just fine, based off of what I've seen right now.
Yeah.
The security company and what FBI staff.
Sure.
There's no staff to consult tonight. That might change though in the future, where
Well, I'll be back to check. But,
they
you know,
will
it's-
probably be implementing different types of security measures in terms of allowing people or controlling access to the parking lot.
Sure. And that's up to them.
Which that means blocking off the entrances or whatever they do.
Sure. And that would be unfortunate, but that's up to them.
Yep, that's something that they're going to have to decide in the future. So.
Yeah. But as of right now, I know that we're not breaking any laws, and I don't intend to.
Right.
I don't
And
want
they
to.
seem to be fine with that as
And
long
he's
as
a
you
good
stay in the
gentleman.
parking
He's
lot.
not,
So,
rude or anything like that. So, that's
as
it.
long as once you're finished with your business, they just kindly ask you. So that's
That
it
was
for
the
right
plan,
now.
right?
Perfect.
All right, sounds good. Have a nice
Take
night,
care, guys.
That's something that that means
We're contacting the agent, so we will get back to you as soon as possible.
that's the confusion. It says visitors parking. If this controls access, then it's
And it's the same reason, why people have access to our public, parking lot side. That's what just restrictions our security reasons. So same thing for you guys the other time we kind of discussed, but I don't foresee anything that's going to give them access.
there's no threat. Yeah, I agree. Now it'd be different if there are any agents inside. It's after hours. That would be different if there are any agents. Okay.
Good luck.
I'd say it's another pass for Brooklyn Center, PD.
Yeah. I mean, but they're so familiar with us that I don't, and they know that we don't break the law. That it's kind of just,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Let's go over here. That's why I get some pictures of their cars. What is the car number on that one? Squad number?
It is going to be 322.
322. Yeah, I mean, I think if it was other people, right, who don't know the law,
Right.
they would have just made something up. Because I know that that's what that guy wanted them to do. But the other thing that nobody's done yet is, even if for some reason they say that there's some law, rule, or whatever, he'd have to actually ask us to leave.
First.
Correct, which he never did that.
And I get it, the building's closed,
Which is fine.
which we're not trying to get into.
No.
And the parking lot's only if you have official business. Well, our official business is filming.
Correct. So, I think that that's important.
But then there's the other part of that, like so when the Minneapolis cop tackled me down. First, there's reasonable, right? So reasonably, I have to be able to capture what I'm capturing.
Yeah.
So is there a reasonable reason I had to leave? Absolutely not. Then second of all, telling me to go, I'm leaving, you tackle me as I'm leaving, that's a second.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing here, right? So reasonable means, well, if we're trying to get a shot and we want to get a really nice shot and you got to get close and stand there, that's reasonable.
Well, yeah, and the other thing too is that the one cop said, which, I know he's not familiar with the law, and I say that like understanding, I'm not trying to give him a cheap shot, but
Right.
the reality is, he said, well, if there's people in the building, and it's hindering some form of legal process,
I can't.
which, again, because they don't understand the full scope of it, me filming and exercising a First Amendment protected activity cannot be hindering. It can't be suspicious unless I were to get in the way.
Right, physically put the camera
Correct.
in between.
Or if I'm screaming at them and they're trying to talk to somebody, those kind of things.
Right.
Sure, but we're not doing any of those things. So whether or not this building's in full swing and everyone's here and they're working, or they're not, it doesn't matter.
Well, I think this is what's scary to me. They don't know what to do, and we're just standing here with cameras.
Yeah.
What if something actually was going on? What would they do?
Right.
That's kind of scary, isn't it?
I think they're so used to one or the other instead of just citizens exercising their rights and checking in on government officials, and I think that's such a foreign concept to them. This battery is quick, I'll tell you that.
Oh my god, that's why I don't like GoPros.
I mean, it goes fast.
Because I have like a knockoff version, and I think it like only gets like 15 minutes of battery. There goes a UC car.
I think that's that one sergeant that was super cool with us. Remember that from that one day?
Oh yeah.
It looks like his squad.
He had a black one, didn't he? 'Cause that's gray. That's actually gray, and that's an illegal color for them to have. They can't have gray.
No, I think that's for...
State statute says they have to have their certain colors, so, and that...
I thought that was for if they're going to be primarily traffic.
No.
Okay.
Use your nails.
Got it. Is there any other police departments around the area?
Brooklyn Center's right up the road.
I don't want to go there. They all know us.
I know.
It's not really a test if they know that we're...
And we've already had interaction with them.
Yeah, I've talked to them so damn much that...
Well, you guys are like on first name going out the grills basis now.
Well, I like most of them, you know. They're good.
We have to invest in a scanner.
Yeah, I mean, I have one for my phone.
Yeah, but a good one that we can actually